I think I can do it. I'm still learning how to work this.
I understand. Yeah, the smartphones. They call them smart.
They're not so smart.
I know, they call them
Smarter than I am.
smart.
Are you kidding? Smarter than I am. I've had this thing for a year and I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, whatever. It can't drive your car, right? It can't give a hug. Can't tell the difference between happy and sad. It's not that smart. Talking about phones,
Well, that aspect, yeah.
right? It's not smart at being a human.
Yeah.
In fact, it kind of sucks at being a human. Heck, we're just kind of barely winging it ourselves, if you
I
ask
know.
me.
So are we doing anything Tuesday at the new place besides the grand opening?
That's a great question. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I think I told Kim, I said.
Thank you. Are you reading my mind about the door? Yes. Thank
I
you.
told Kim, I said, there ain't no sense in nobody showing up if we can't go in. And there ain't no sense in nobody showing up. if we
No,
can't-
no.
if they don't
It's not
start
gonna be like
classes.
that. No, it's not gonna be like that. I think it's gonna be just like an all types of thing that day. I think it's gonna be the grand opening, or not the grand opening, but like a welcome. This is where we're gonna be
Yeah,
before they officially like move out of this location.
because from what Sam and them told me, said they're not really gonna start classes until
Right.
June.
So
Until when, darling?
June,
yeah, so
That's
so
another
so
week.
next Tuesday. So next Tuesday is like the hey, welcome. Like this is where we're gonna be, right? This is the new house we got. So like I'm gonna be there. So like I would still show up for that.
yeah.
You know, so like we're all just instead of meeting
Oh, I'm gonna
here.
show up, cause I know,
Well-
I think I know exactly where it's at.
Yeah, so it's just right there on the corner, and we'll be hanging out.
But
So-
7th Street, what you was asking earlier, 7th Street turns into Monroe
I
Road.
got you.
Like
Will
Billy
there be
Penny's right
outdoor
here, the building's
classes
right
there
here,
too?
CPCC.
Will we have outdoor
Sort of famous
classes
community
there?
college. Parking decks right there.
I have no
across the
idea.
street.
I would think so. There's a really
I'll
big
be
parking lot in the back. I know. So I'm not really sure what their plans will be for all of that. I have no idea what the plans are,
But they
y'all.
don't think the classes will start till June?
You're right, but I mean it's already mid-May. It's only 2 weeks away, right? I know that's nuts.
Well, a week and a half, I mean.
Yeah, like yeah, because today's the
Today's
18th.
Thursday, so really a week and, about a week and a half.
Yeah, so
Week
you
and
know,
3 days, week and 4 days.
so
No
yeah.
classes next week and then maybe the following week.
I mean, we'll still be
Thursday.
here.
We'll be Thursday here.
Yeah, we'll be here next week.
Oh.
So yeah, so we'll still have everything here until that location
Oh.
officially opens. So
Okay.
next Tuesday is like, welcome to the new house. No, you can't come in here and sleep yet. Right? It's like, but just welcome. Okay, and then we'll come back to the old house while we're still packing up. So eat the meals, hanging out, doing the classes until that location is officially open for us to move in.
You're not making.
If that makes sense.
Will you please
Now you
slow
made
down?
me very happy,
When are
Jenny.
we going to participate?
I don't know.
I thought, all right.
So Monday's closed here, and then Tuesday is the grand opening at the new location. And then come back here after that.
Yes,
So
final
Wednesday,
answer.
Until Wednesday, until they give us a date.
Yes. That's what I
Yeah, I
think
think
right
Tuesday.
now.
I think you're right.
So we're gonna go with that. And and just keep the thank you. Good morning. And just
So you're saying
keep
Monday is closed here.
Yes.
Tuesday we're gonna be at the location, the new one. And then Wednesday we're coming back here for,
I don't know.
I think I'm the only thing on Wednesday and I have the fifth agreement.
Cool. I love that.
We gotta figure out a new book, Jamie, you need to put your thinking wheels on,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Yeah.
Something that's maybe a little spiritual and mostly recovery.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I've got plenty of books in my
I
head.
know you do,
I know.
that's what I thought.
Okay, please watch all the stuff because I spread out like I live here. Awesome. So if we can make sure that all of our phones are on silent, that would be really helpful for me. Let's just drop in. Let's just get real present, shall we? So we'll hold the space energetically for anyone that may be joining us late. And just breathe in a little bit of gratitude for you for showing up right now. Like I did it. I showed up. I did it. I showed up. I showed up right now. continue to let your breath be big and full. I'm not going to guide you on your inhales and your exhales, but I'm going to trust that you're going to take really big inhales and really big exhales in your own timing, and start to connect with your body and your breath. Feel the weight of your body here in this present moment. Feel the weight of your clothes on your skin, the way you are positioned on this chair, how the chair is positioned on the floor, how the floor is positioned in this home space, where this building is on this land, and where this land is on this block, and where this block is on this city, where the city is in this state. And just let your breath continue to be big and full. I invite you to soften your eyes and maybe look down at the floor or the tip of your nose. It draws the awareness inward. And we're going to be going into the spiritual dimension of wellness, which is in fact an inward journey. So the invitation is to focus inward. And when the eyes are looking around, it's really easy for the mind to get distracted. But if we let the eye gaze focus on the tip of the nose, maybe the palms of your hands, your shoes, the floor, and the only thing you're focusing on is that and the flow of your breath. We're just going to do that for a couple more seconds, letting your breath be really big and full, letting your body relax even more with every breath out. Together, we'll take one really big breath in and a big breath out. So now we're here. You know, it's so funny. So I'm Jane. Welcome to Expansions, to Spiritual Dimensional Wellness. AA. You know, so it's really funny because today I was like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, right? I don't never know, but I usually don't know, right? I usually just let spirit guide me and the universe guide me, and it just flows, right? And I love that what kind of came through is what started this off. When we look for spirituality, I think oftentimes we look at books, right? We look at communities, we look at friends, we look at the earth, we look at all these things outside of ourselves to remind us of what? Of who and what we truly are inside, right? We're looking outside of ourselves to remember who we are inside. We're looking outside of ourselves to remember love so that we can remember it that we are that. I'm looking outside of myself to find the light, to remember that, oh, I am the light. I'm going to keep looking outside of myself for answers on how I can be better, when really I am the one that's going to be better regardless, right? So we're always in this extrospection. I don't know if that's a word. When I think of introspection, it's looking inward. So I made up the word, unless it's a real one, and if so, cool. The extrospection, I'm looking outward to find the answers. And I find it really interesting because when I really think about all of my journeys, the most impactful moments that I've had have been when I have found an inner truth. Like, oh my God, I am lovable. Oh God, I didn't know that. Like, talk about a mind shift, a game changer, when I'm like, oh my God, I am lovable. I had to realize that, right? Or I am worthy. I'm worthy of being here. I could have read that in a book all day. Jane, you're worthy of being here all day. But until something within me clicked, until I saw that truth within myself, it would never have been felt as a really deep truth and knowing, right?
Or an emotion,
What?
kind of like an emotion.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah. So like when we go inward, that's when we really find the truth, right? Someone could tell me that someone could tell you all day that you deserve to be loved. All day. You deserve to be loved. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But until you believe it, right, then it doesn't matter. But unless I look inward to see that there is a space of just my true nature that is deserving of being loved, then I'll like, that's when it kind of happens. That's when it like becomes realized. Oh my God, I am worthy of being loved. I deserve love. So it's this inward looking, huh?
It's a void need to be filled.
Yes, it's a void that needs to be filled. And oftentimes when we can see that that's a void, then we can give ourselves what we need. Right? Oh, if I look inward and I decide or I remember or I realize that I am worthy of love. I deserve love. Well, then if I figure that out and I'm out in the middle of the jungle and a mountaintop and I'm by myself, nobody can be like, oh, well, here you go. Here's some love. No, it's up to me to then feel it, open it, receive it from the earth or myself or whatever that is.
Sorry,
It's okay. Is this one of those things that like everybody's phone does
Yeah.
at the same time?
alert.
I have all my alerts turned off. I'm like, if there's something really traumatic, like I'll figure it out in the now that I need to. That's just me. I can't handle
I
it.
didn't count on that.
I know, right? No, we never do, right? We never count on the alarms, like that.
And I got the
But think about
notification
this.
turned off.
Yeah, but think about this. I mean, it's perfectly timed, right? Because we don't typically go inward until an alarm gets turned on, right? We don't really go and look inward until we're like at a wall, at a breaking point. There's a sign that says, you need help. Some people call it rock bottom, right? What's the difference between rock bottom and the alarm going off? Nothing, just the words we use, right? So we've all had these alarms going off. We've all hit rock bottom in some way, shape, or form, maybe more than once, maybe a million times, who knows? But we get to go inward. And what I find really interesting is the resistance to it. That's what I want to talk about. The resistance to looking inward. So just ask yourself, am I resistant to looking inward?
Am I what?
Resistant to looking inward? Just ask yourself, am I resistant to really being with the core of who I am? Am I resistant on allowing stillness and peace? Am I resistant to love? Am I resistant to my worthiness? Am I resistant to my light? Am I resistant to my health? Am I resistant to my well-being? Just ask yourself. Only you know the answer.
I think the worthiness is something that takes time for me. And I have to say to myself when I think of it, because it's the other things that you mentioned. I'm a kid in the 60s. And in the 60s, that's all we wanted to do is drop acid and look inside ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And so I've always wanted to look inside myself and didn't know how, what does that mean? And then you would call the kook and all that other stuff, So then my new life that I experienced today, I'm forced to look inward, otherwise I can't get better. I'm absolutely forced to look at who I am, what's good, what's bad, what pray to get removed, pray to not get removed. And of course I'm older too. And so if you don't look within, you don't have a life. Looking within is what creates your life.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Honest with yourself.
And being honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other looking inward right there, isn't it?
Yeah, getting the fears out.
Yep. Definitely.
It's all about getting the hard fears out. Being who you really want to be. Everybody wants to fake it.
Yeah. I just want to put this request out there. If anybody is coughing, please cough in your arm. Please
Right.
cover up your mouth when you cough.
Right.
Please. I just want to be really clear on that
Yeah.
and really in gratitude. Thank you. Yes.
Sometimes it's hard for me to be myself because of peer pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then do you look inward?
Like, what does that mean?
Do you, I'll use the peer pressure as an example. So sometimes when I have been peer pressured for whatever, however, right? it was not necessarily easy for me to look inward because, so say everyone in this room, pretend everyone in this room is peer pressuring me. Okay. So what do? That makes me look at everyone even more. Okay, they're saying this and I should be that. And the only thing I can look at isn't really deep. It's just like, I'm not good enough because they're telling me I need to be different. And then I don't look inward deeply, right? Because if I look inward deeply enough, I'm going to be like, I am whole and complete, just as I am, right? If I look deep enough, we find the truth. And that truth is that we are whole and complete because we're a human on this earth plane, period. You know, like that's it. We're just humans humaning.
That's a self-acceptance issue too. You think under
Totally.
pressure and doing, you have to know yourself and know, you can't look at pressure into doing things. You have to know who you are and what you stand for, and even if somebody else wants you to do something that you want to do, you have enough, self-esteem, think enough above yourself not to give in what they want you to do.
Totally.
It's just a sense that, you can't, give in to others.
Yeah,
Because we're special just the way we are. We don't need to compare ourselves to others, That's
exactly.
why I see peer pressure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to hand him some tissues, please? Thank you. Well, let's talk about self-esteem. Where does self-esteem and spirituality even come into play? I had a client this week, and that was something that she and I worked through because I'm a spiritual guide, so I help people on their path, right? And she was realizing that her self-esteem kind of got knocked down with an experience. She had something happen, and she was just like, she's like, I can tell my self-esteem got hit. And I was like, what does that even mean? So when I say that, when you think about self-esteem and it getting hit, or your self-esteem gets knocked down or whatever, think about that just for a second. My mama's on here, mama, and she says, I used to resist in my younger years, but the older I get, the easier it is. The easier it has become not to resist it. That's great. That's awesome sauce.
I agree with her.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because of that, once we look outside of ourselves enough, we kind of realize that it's the same shit every day, or maybe it's the same shit different day. So it's kind of like, well, I can go inward. If I go inward, that's always discovery zone. Who knows what I'm going to find today, right? So when we talk about self-esteem, what comes up for you? When I mentioned self-esteem, what came up? When I was like, hey, if there are times that, your self-esteem has gotten hit, what was it that, not what happened, but what did that feel like?
I would think that it would feel like I was demoralized by either a situation that happened, or I was made to feel less than. Would hurt my self-esteem. And self-esteem is something that is so like this, it goes and comes. And I think it has to be worked on. Because we're told that if we have too much self-esteem, then our egos and our vanity is there, You think you're so wonderful, so let me show you. Just a thought.
I love that
just
thought.
Lay it out there.
I love it.
I think about self-esteem is, knowing what you want to do and then doing it. Don't be afraid of nothing you're doing because it makes you grow. It makes you who you like. What you had to do is look down deep. Get all the garbage out. Right. And good stuff down there. And guess what? You got a better person.
Yeah. Well, and even with that we can still look in there with the garbage. Because will we ever get rid of all the garbage?
No.
But good and evil and good don't mix. Like night and day. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah,
So.
however I say get rid of it.
And
Put it
okay.
on the back burner. You don't need it. It don't help you grow. Why carry it around with you? That dead weight.
Yeah, I love this. I love where this is going.
Yeah.
This is like building on. This is all building together. So if I'm looking in and there's still garbage,
Is that even though you want to get rid of all that evil stuff, we're not 100% pure no matter what we do. So that evil stuff, I don't know if you want to call it evil or, self-centeredness and selfishness and all that crap that's in there, it could seep out. It's still in there and it coexists with the good. And, I just want to say that.
Yeah, and both can be true.
Right.
So what if no matter what, that whether I have what we call evil, we call it garbage, we call it trauma, we call it whatever, right? We call it whatever the word is, right? Because we're accepting all the words for everything, but it's all still the same thing. There might be like a little bits of difference, but we're still talking about the same thing. So if I still have all of this shit, it's just crap. Look at me crap. I've got all of this crap. It's evil crap. I don't need it anymore. So so I'm gonna be humble. I'm gonna have humility and be like, yeah, I still got my crap. And I can still look inward and see that I am worthy of love.
Right.
And to me, that's the challenge.
Right.
When our self-esteem gets hit, when all we do is we look inward and we see the crap. Because then we believe that we're only the crap. But if I can look inward and see like, yeah, I have crap, or maybe it's got a little stain from the last time. I don't know, But if I can look in there and be like, wow, yeah, I still am love. I still am love.
You know why people drinking drugs? 90% of it to escape the truth
Oh yeah,
of their self.
totally.
It's a big lie. That's all it is.
Uh-huh. It really is. The whole
Stress
time.
reliever.
Yeah. Well, it's not even a stress reliever. It's a stress pauser
Right.
because it doesn't really relieve the stress. It just puts a pause on it because as soon as I got sober or whatever, like the next day, I'd be like, oh, yep, stress is still there. In fact, it's worse.
The pillar's still there. They ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
Nothing changes, nothing changes.
Right.
Exactly. So, so how can we like the self-esteem, self-esteem is basically where we feel about ourselves when related to acceptance.
When related to a what?
To acceptance. Like, if I don't accept that I am love, if I don't accept that I've made mistakes, if I don't accept that I'm probably still going to make mistakes, if I don't accept that I'm a weirdo or that I'm like whatever, if I don't accept these things, then what happens is someone outside of me tells me that I'm not. Someone outside of me then says, you're not good enough. And then I go, oh God, you're right. And then my self-esteem gets hit. But if I just have it knowing like, yeah, I'm not perfect. And I love that.
Mhm.
And I love and accept myself.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm going to make mistakes and I love and accept myself.
Mhm.
So then if someone outside of me says, ooh, you messed up, you dummy. And then I go, yeah, I did. And I still love and accept myself. It doesn't affect my self-esteem.
A lot of people put us down have low self-esteem themselves, like they're comparing us to themselves. They got the same problem themselves. That's what they're trying to bring us down. Because they had the same issue themselves.
That's true.
And they're trying to put us down to bring themselves up, you know what I mean? I've experienced that a lot through high school when I was young and grow up in life,
Misery loves company.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what you call them, yep. I dealt with that a lot.
Yeah. Well, and there's comfort in familiarity.
Yeah.
There's comfort and familiarity. That's why we stay in abusive relationships. Now, I mean abusive relationships with a partner, with a job, with a bottle,
Yep.
with ourselves. We'll stay in an abusive relationship with ourselves because it's the only thing we know.
Right.
We're just so comfortable feeling bad.
Yeah.
And the only way we can really feel good is from going inward. We got to be able to go inward.
And it starts with gratitude.
For some, it does start with gratitude, for sure.
Right.
And for me, I agree with that. For some, it's really challenging.
You gotta be grateful you can grow.
Right.
Okay, you can accomplish anything.
Yes. I think gratitude is for me, gratitude works really well as a first step.
Right.
But I'm also someone that like literally if somebody dies, I can be grateful for that. that's a weird thing for a lot of people. That's just where I am in my evolution. That I can be grateful that they lived and that they died. I can be grateful that like I can feel gratitude for all of it. Right? But that's not easy for some people. If somebody breaks a bone, I had a friend and he went roller skating and he was living with me at the time. He went roller skating. He was going down the hill and I was getting ready to go. Did I tell y'all this story?
Yeah.
I was getting ready to go to this, like a couture fashion show, like fundraiser, like artists and all this stuff, right? And I'm talking like I did my hair, my makeup. I have my dress. I mean, there are plenty of other seats. She can come. She'll come back to wherever.
It's all right.
It's all right. You're fine. So perfect. So I have my dress on and I'm ready to go, and I haven't been out in a while and I'm so excited.
Mhm.
And so 10 minutes before my date, it wasn't like a romantic date. It was one of the artists that was having a featured piece in the couture fashion show.
Uh-huh.
So he's like on his way, 10 minutes before his arrival, my housemate calls and says, "Can you help me? I was roller skating and I fell down." And I was like, "No, bro, I can't. I love you, but no." Mm-mm. And he goes, "I think I broke a bone." And I go, "I mean, but did you?" And he goes, "My wrist is facing the wrong direction."
Call an ambulance.
And I was like, okay. So of course I go and I help, right? And I pick him up and sure enough, his wrist, I mean, it's like, instead of it bending here, it did this, but it did this here.
Oh.
So it was like two wrists. It was great. I was like, okay, right?
Uh-huh.
So I pick him up, he gets in the car and he goes to like shut the door and he sees it and he was like, "Oh my God." And I was like, "Use the other hand," right? So he shuts the door and, so I drove him back to the house to get pillows to prop it. And then I drove him to the ER.
Uh-huh.
And the whole time I was thanking him. Because I have a belief that we are all one.
Uh-huh.
I have a belief that everything that anyone in this room has experienced is a version of me. And that's why I can be like, "Oh, I've actually experienced a lot of this stuff." And there are the nuances, like the exact experiences that everyone's had in this room that none of us have had. I'm grateful that like you've had them because that means I didn't have to, right? Like nobody in this room has had the exact experiences that I have. I'm hoping you're grateful that I did it so you don't have to.
Uh-huh.
Right? And so I was thanking him the whole time, like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." Because like by you doing this, I don't have to. There's a version of me, you, who literally have two wrists on one arm, and you're going through all this pain so that me, I don't have to. So I can take care of you. I can give you love and support because maybe you wouldn't have, like, I was so grateful that I got to be there, that I got to support him, that I got to be the one to take him to the ER. Yeah, I didn't want to. I would much rather have gone to this fashion show. Duh. But that gratitude. And he was like crying, one, because he was in pain, but he was also like, "Oh my God," like, I guess his story was that his mom would have blamed him, right? His
Right.
upbringing would have been like, "Well, what's wrong with you, stupid? You should have had wrist guards on." And he would have been blamed for his injury, right? So thinking about like gratitude I think gratitude is amazing. Gratitude's also not the easiest one. Just putting that out there. Like when we go inward, sometimes it's not like, "Oh my God, I'm so grateful that I feel like I want to kill myself." Like sometimes we don't feel grateful for that.
But can we do like I was really pissed off this morning. And
too.
I just
Yes.
I don't know.
Did you punch anything? Because I did.
Did you cuss? Did I cuss?
Oh yeah. No,
Cuss
did you
what?
punch? Did you punch anything?
No, I didn't punch anything.
Oh,
I
it's so
walked.
great.
I
Oh,
walked.
I love
walked, I walked.
pillows, yo.
So
Anyway, sorry.
in all of that, I was saying I'm so pissed off and I don't like this. Blah, blah, blah. But thank God I have a roof over my head. And blah, 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 blah. But thank God I have my hair on my head.
Yeah.
So even in the midst of being so pissed off and those thoughts go through your mind but I don't know,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can walk this walk.
Yeah. Physically and emotionally
Yeah, that's right.
and mentally and spiritually. Like, talk about being grateful that we can walk this walk right now.
But also I have to get out of the pissed off thing. I don't wanna stay there too long.
Yeah. Nobody wants to stay in it.
I know.
And we can be like, oh my God, I'm so mad. And I still love and accept myself.
Okay.
Because if I can say and believe that no matter what I'm thinking or feeling or doing, that I can love and accept myself, then my behavior, if it's not healthy, will change. Right? Because I can't do harm to myself and love and accept myself. That's the oil and water, right? They don't mix. But if what I'm doing is just me diving inward and feeling what I need to feel to do the healing, then it allows it to heal it even faster because I'm doing it with love and acceptance. I'm not taking it personally that why haven't I healed this by now or whatever.
No, I think gratitude is good. How to really deal with it, don't never ever forget where you came from. You always look back and see the bad parts in it and points in your life. And guess what? You can grow for it and go forward.
Totally. But I even have a hard time with that. Because, when I look back, I'm like, yo, I've come really far. like, OMG.
No.
Whoa, come so far. And then I also look back at sometimes and I'm like, damn, I used to have a lot more. Damn, I used to have a lot more. I used to have a lot more friends. Or I used to have a lot more money. I used to have a lot more this. Oh God, I used to have a lot more of that. So then it's like, can I no matter what still say that, man, I used to have a lot more money, but it doesn't impact who I am now. Because I love and accept myself now. And I don't necessarily think I loved and accepted myself back then.
Right.
I had a lot of money, but I didn't love and accept myself. And I would much rather love and accept myself and be totally alone than to be in a room of hundreds of people and feel like I'm not good enough. Right?
Absolutely.
That's why it's our whole is money will soon get lost.
Will you say that again? I'm sorry.
That's why it's in the word. A fool and his money will soon fall.
Yeah. And there aren't really any statements about like,
you going back.
yeah. And then there aren't really that many statements about like, man, they had so much money. They were so great.
Money's everything.
You don't
I
think
know.
growth comes with consequences?
Consequences?
Growth,
How do you define a consequence?
challenging.
Yeah, of course. It's uncomfortable. It's moving into a new way of being. You walk up enough steps, no matter what body you're in, you're gonna get tired. You're gonna start to feel the burn. Right? Like, yeah, because growth is literally changing position. It's changing attitude. There was a gentleman in here. Y'all remember Marv?
Yes.
Marv said something one time that
It was his
Yeah.
roommate.
he said something that just really landed for me. And he described the word attitude. And it wasn't just like, it's my attitude, right? It was more like it's an aeronautical term, and it's the relationship with where we are to the horizon. That is attitude. What is the horizon? Maybe it's like your true north, your source,
Right.
your goal, your purpose, love, whatever that is.
That's your attitude.
That's your attitude. So sometimes if we're starting to take a nosedive,
Right.
we got to change our attitude. It's like that G-force that kind of pulls us back up. It kind of makes you want to vomit.
Yeah.
It's a lot of change real fast. What if you've gone up too high and you don't even realize that you've missed the mark so long? Now you're afraid you didn't even realize you were that far off path. There's a lot of. Would you request he turn that off, please?
Turn off the music.
Thanks. Like if you miss the mark too much, then sometimes it's like it's scary, it's confusing. I don't know how I'm gonna get back on path. That's a whole mental change and discomfort, right?
Right.
But then going back to, and I still love and accept myself.
And I still love and accept myself.
My self-esteem does not ever need to be hit.
Right.
I don't need to take that bullet anymore. We are not the bullseye of having our self-esteem hit anymore. We're not here to feel unworthy of shit anymore. We're not. We're done with that. We've done it enough. All of us have. We really have. Humanity has done it enough as it is. You know, we don't need to feel bad about not having enough. We don't need to feel bad about not being enough. We don't need to fucking feel like we're not enough.
Right.
Right. Amen.
Because we are enough. Because we're here and we're breathing.
I think that for some of us with alcohol and drug addiction, that just added on the pile of you are not enough and you are not worthy. And there's that just to show you.
The proof.
Uh-huh.
The proof of the not enoughness.
Uh-huh.
There's always proof of it's so funny. We can't prove a negative. I can only prove what is. I cannot prove what is not.
Mhm.
I would do that for infinity. I could go on for days and days and days and tell you everybody that's not in this room right now.
Right.
But I can say who is in this room because you're here, you're worthy.
Mhm.
So all those other people out there may say that we're not. Who cares?
Right.
They don't even exist.
Right.
You know,
Right.
because the truth is within. The truth knows that I am worthy, always. I'm worthy of being here. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of abundance. I'm worthy of vitality. I'm worthy of friends. I'm worthy of life. I am worthy of life.
Whose thing is beeping?
Microwave.
Oh.
Oh, is it really the microwave?
Somebody's cooking a dinner, lunch. It's not dinner time. I got excited.
Oh my God, I had a question that just.
We could go on forever about we can't prove a negative.
Right.
Well, you think about it. Mama Jane shared that she accepts herself as I am, not concerned about what others think or accept for me. Oh, look, that's kind of what we were just saying. Yeah. You know?
And so really you have to be willing to push that off though. I don't have anybody, no one's in my life anymore that tells me negative things about myself.
Right.
I've dumped them all.
Yeah. But we will allow our self-esteem to get hit.
Yeah.
Right? When I go to the beach, my self-esteem gets hit.
Done.
Your self-esteem what?
Gets hit.
In what way?
Because I see all these like 20-year-olds in bathing suits.
I'm with you. Sometimes
I
my
just,
self-esteem gets hit.
You know,
with
when I
things
go
like
to
that.
when I go to the gym,
Uh-huh.
my self-esteem gets hit. Because I can't lift that at all. You know, my self-esteem gets hit.
So what do?
When my self-esteem gets hit, you know, when someone's like out there on like Amazon.com buying whatever and they're getting deliveries every day across the street. And meanwhile, I'm just like, can somebody give me a 20 spot because I'm hungry? Right? What do? I remind myself that I still accept this because I need to accept this. It's my job to accept and love this. It's nobody else's.
Because you have to accept, you don't have a choice, and it's either give into it or accept it.
Right.
Yep.
I can accept that my body looks like this. I can accept that my body is this strong today.
Yeah.
I can accept that I have $20 today. I can accept that I have one best friend today. I can accept that I have 1 million best friends today. I can accept everything that I am and that I have today, but that's my choice.
Right.
And every time I can still love me, then my self-esteem does not get impacted. It doesn't. It can't. But that's the journey of human. We're not supposed to always be like you said in the beginning, right? I am perfect. I am perfect and great all the time. I'm better than everything else ever. Right? We're not made to be like that. Because we lose the humility.
Right.
The humility is being human. That's the gift.
You sound like a queen.
Queen Jane, bippity boppity boo.
That just made so much sense. That was so smart.
That's how people were supposed to be during the Victorian age.
Well, the higher ups or the elites were,
Yeah. I'm better than. I'm better than.
I know what I was gonna ask you. So that love, that internal love, sometimes might come from a spiritual place to begin with. It's from like, well, if my spirit loves me, then of course I might I'm not gonna argue with that. I love myself. And I'm gonna find out the ways that this relationship I have loves me, and I will grow with that.
Yeah. And what is our spirit, right? It could be, you could look at it as our past self. Our past self is loving the hell out of us right now.
Right.
Like seriously, our past self is loving the hell out of us right now. Our past self is like, you did it. You were alive. Yes, like high five, brother. Yes, you did it, sis.
I know.
Right? And our future self loves us just the same because our future self sees that we still have a path ahead.
Yeah.
And is holding so much love and compassion for us. But we can be here and now and being like, oh my God, I don't accept me. I'm such a loser. I don't deserve anything. I need to be different. I need to be better. Meanwhile, our past self is like, you're such a goober. Like, you're so far ahead. And our future self is like, you're such a goober. You're going to get there eventually because I'm already here.
So one happy to grow and one happy to die.
I mean, but same thing.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 Totally.
This is the mystic right here.
Yeah. And this is the mystery of life. You know, it's, you know, wait, we get to do this. We get to just have our worthiness hit, have our self-esteem, which is worthiness, the enoughness, it's our acceptance. We get to have that hit by others. But if I am willing to do the work, if I'm willing to look inward, then my self-esteem can't get hit. And then there are little bullets that they're throwing out to tell me that I'm not good enough. They bounce off, they hit them. I'm rubber, you're glue. And it gives them space to heal, right? Because if somebody is feeling their self-esteem get low, it's like the people at the gym or the ladies in bikinis on the beach. And they're like, oh my God, look at her. Look at him. He's just showing off. That's just somebody that's like, oh, I don't feel good enough about myself, so I need to tell them, I need to pretend that they're bad.
I know, I do it.
Right? And it's because we just forgot that who and what I am is perfect and enough
That's right.
as I am. Self-esteem does not, the value of ourselves is not something to be determined. The value of us does not need to be determined.
It's not on the outside either.
No.
Say that again?
I said it's not on the outside.
Oh.
I don't know what she means exactly. It's not to be determined. I'm still
Yeah.
pondering that.
The amount of money in my bank
Okay, gotcha.
does not determine who I am.
No.
The amount of friends I have does not determine who I am.
Right.
It might affect it, like those is what he was saying, like there are consequences and discomforts. Yeah, like that's a part of my story. But only until I go inward will I know who I am. And if we dig deep enough, I feel we always find the same answer. And it's love. And that's the unifying thing. That's why all faiths, all timelines, the common denominator was love. Every last one of them. Whether it went from science to the earth to the God Almighty, it's always been about love. And it's only when we go inward that we see that. When we see it in ourselves, we see it in others, then our self-esteem doesn't get hit. And we don't project our wounds onto someone else. Because we're like, oh wait, I can love and accept who I am with all this pain and muck, with all this garbage. Because I'm willing to continue to sift through it every day. Because I'm still here as a human. Eternity.
And that is very for yourself.
We say it again?
And take belief in yourself.
I think it takes will.
But will and belief
You
are
know?
the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, if I believe that it's empty, I'm not even going to have the will to look. Right? You know, like, because I know that there are beings in this world, right, that don't believe, and I've been one of them. They don't believe that there's anything bigger. They don't believe in love. They don't believe in Great Spirit God. They don't believe in that Earth has a consciousness, that Earth is the heart. right? That there are beings that just don't believe anything
Right,
other than this is a chair because it's what I've been told. This is a computer because it's what I've been told.
that's right.
They only believe in what they've been told.
Right.
But it takes the will to question belief. Why? Is that a computer? Is it a computer? What else could it be?
That's just like the fifth agreement skepticism, that's what we're on right now.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Be
Love that.
skeptical, listen and be skeptical and listen.
Yeah.
The sheeple.
Yeah, totally. You know, so it takes a belief in what I know, but if I don't know what I know, if I don't know the knowing, if I don't know the truth, then have the will to question it all. And then let me go back in and let me question it again.
Right.
And let me go back in and
Truth
let me
is out there.
question it.
It's out there.
Right.
Truth's out there.
It's
You just have
out
to
there.
want to look and find it.
And it's in there.
There's literature you can read. It's out there.
And it's in there.
Yep, it is. Yep,
We have all the answers.
yep.
And it goes back to the top of the hour.
Yep.
And we still search outside of ourselves to
Yeah.
find what's inside. We read these books, the 4 agreements, the 5th agreement. We read the Bible. We read, the books on everything to remind us, okay.
To remind us sometimes that it's just interesting, like the history's in there, the reasons why this came, I'm reading some things like that. And then I'm also reading something from that non-denominational church about consciousness and all that stuff. And that's always just fun to explore. But the
Right.
bottom line is love.
Always.
That's the bottom.
Yes. And love can be with us all the time,
That's what I think.
right? Which means that if I'm feeling bad about myself,
Uh-huh.
that I'm not a bad person. I didn't fail because I'm feeling bad. I can still love and accept me even in my darkest times.
Okay.
What was that thing in the Bible about Jesus in the shadow in the valley?
I'm not bad.
Walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fear no evil, yeah.
No, is this. We say it again?
Walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
Right. And the darkness is the death.
Right.
It's all the stuff we're afraid of. Oh God, I'm afraid that nobody's ever gonna like me because I can feel how crappy I am. But Jesus walked with them during that time in the shadow, in the darkness, which means that there was always love present. If there's love present, always, we can still feel whatever we're gonna feel, and our self-esteem doesn't get hit. So let us walk around the rest of this day, shall we? Being like, you know what? Nothing is going to affect my self-esteem
Okay.
because I know who I am and I'm still discovering who I am. That I can love and accept myself no matter what.
You want me to accept myself no matter what?
That's why we allow people to have that, a new hope and belief in themselves.
Mhm.
Instead of taking them, putting their best foot forward and going for the gospel in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for that.
And if you fail, guess what? You get back up and get back in the race again.
Yeah, we fall down, we still love and accept ourselves.
Right.
And that
We're
gives
gonna
us
fail.
the energy to live another day.
And we're going to fail too. That's one thing. You're going to fail in life.
Yeah,
You're a human being. You're going to have failures.
yeah. We're going to get hit.
Yep. You're going to get that knocked down. You got to get back up.
Yeah.
That's why we're all here, I guess.
Right. I mean, could you imagine if any NFL player, when they got hit the first time, when they got tackled the first time, they were like, "Oh God, I'm a failure. That's it. I suck. I can't do it."
Yep.
They would never. They were just like, "Whoa, I just learned a lot. That hurt.
That's the truth.
That
right?
sucked. Man, I still love and accept who I am because I'm just playing a game. We're just here playing this game of life. That's all we're doing. We're just playing this game of life best we can." So my invitation is we walk through this day and every day. Walk through with like a lot of just love and acceptance for who we are. Keep our self-esteem with the truth,
Mhm.
right? If my self-esteem, if the self-esteem gets hit, it's like, oh my God, I'm not good enough. Let your truth be heard. Or the truth that says, nah, you are still worthy of love, silly goose.
Uh-huh.
You are still worthy of love.
That's what
So-
God wants to do, build one another up.
Yeah.
But we take it another way and try to tear one another down and think I did our own thing. You're wrong.
Exactly.
You have brought so much of you brought love into my mind.
Oh, yay. I love that.
And I
It's the
concentrate on
connection.
it all the time.
Hey, what are you going to say?
I think whenever those things come into your mind, I think that's the devil's work.
Okay. Well, I would like to end not talking about the devil's work. Right? Like that. So I was closing. So I don't want to end with like, that's the devil's work. Bye. Right. So let's leave it on a high note. Right? Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay. So on the high note is that we can still love and accept ourselves. That we can honor that we have the muck, whatever around us, within us, cool, whatever. And we can still love and honor ourselves. We can still cherish the fact that we get to live this life. And that nothing is going to take my self-esteem, my worthiness, my value down, because it's not to be determined by anything else other than the truth, which is that I am worthy of it, because I am that. I am that. I am worthy of love because I am that. I am worthy of love because I am that. I'm worthy of vitality. Why? Because I am that. I'm worthy of truth. Why? Because I am that. I'm worthy of compassion. Why? Because I am that. So if anything outside of us doesn't give us kindness, compassion, love, grace, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not mad at anybody that they're not giving me thousands of dollars. I'm still worthy of it, but I'm not mad at anybody not giving it to me, right? I'm going to celebrate that I'm worthy of it, whether I have it in my awareness or not. I may not be able to feel compassion for myself right now, but I know I am that, right? That I am still loved. So let's walk out on this day.
That keeps self-esteem up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like spiritual self-esteem practice. So before you leave, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank
Thank
everybody
you,
online
Jane.
for being here.
Thank you,
I'll see
Jane.
you all
Thank you back.
as soon as I know more details.